What's up, fight fans? In today's video, we've got Conor McGregor FaceTiming Elon Musk after his presidential campaign hits a wall. Then there's Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya. I'm done versus IV, but I'm not going to just cancel. Out now, cause plus Caio Borralho breaks his silence after his first UFC loss. And Jon Jones says that he's not retired and is training for a potential fight on the UFC's White House card. Tom Aspinall is still buzzing from the insane energy in Paris, and John Silva reacts to his friend Mauricio Ruffy's crushing loss. And of course, we've also got Merab Dvalishvili bringing the laughs again with a new skit. So we've got plenty to cover and no time to waste. Let's get started. He doesn't have anything on right now. As you know, the former UFC champion Conor McGregor officially announced his campaign to become Ireland's next president. He has been teasing the idea for months, and now it's real. But there is one big problem. Under Ireland's election laws, McGregor might not even qualify to be on the ballot. To run, he needs either 20 signatures from Irish Parliament members or nominations from 4 different local councils. While McGregor is 37 and old enough to run, it looks like he doesn't have the political backing yet. So what does Conor do? He goes full showbiz and FaceTimes Elon Musk. Yep, McGregor posted a screenshot of their private FaceTime call with the caption, "This is Superman level, folks." Musk appeared fully engaged in the conversation, and honestly, at this point, nothing really surprises us anymore. Elon later doubled down on X, writing, "No one will fight harder for the people of Ireland than Conor McGregor." Bold words, but also Elon's not Irish, or a voter there. So, there's that. Now, McGregor's campaign video shows him outside Irish government buildings in Dublin, ripping into the current leadership and pushing his anti-immigration message. He asked supporters to contact local officials and help him get nominated before the deadline. But here... Here's the reality check. A recent poll of 134 Irish politicians showed zero support. And let's not forget, Conor has zero political experience, no party backing, and a long history of public scandals. Even if he somehow got on the ballot and won, the Irish president can't actually make laws or hold referendums. The role is mostly symbolic, but that might be all that McGregor wants. Headlines, attention, and one more round in the spotlight. From cage fights to FaceTime calls with billionaires, Conor McGregor's presidential run is turning into pure spectacle. Yeah, Nassourdine Imavov recently scored a clean, dominant, unanimous decision win over Caio Borralho at UFC Paris. That makes it 5 wins in a row, and now he is calling for gold. "I'm next," he shouted after the fight, and the Accor arena lit up. However, a title shot is not on the table for now. Dana White and the brass are keeping their eyes on the upcoming October showdown between Rainier Dieter and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. That fight could very well decide the next title challenger, especially if it ends in a highlight reel finish. Now, let's be real. If Imavov had knocked out Borralho or finished him in brutal fashion, he might already be holding the keys to a title shot. But a decision win, even a clean one, doesn't always move the UFC needle. Daniel Cormier also isn't convinced that Nassourdine Imavov's dominant win over Caio Borralho was enough to make the French middleweight the clear #1 contender, or guarantee him a title shot against reigning champion Khamzat. Being that he was first, being that he was dominant, I think today people will rush to say he's #1 contender. But I think that because it wasn't a finish, obviously, Nassourdine got the victory. I think people will want to wait and see, because if Fluffy and them look good, if Fluffy can replicate what he did in the last fight, they'll go, "That's more impressive. That seems more dangerous to Khamzat." But Robert Whittaker doesn't see anyone beating Chimaev right now. Not Imavov, not anyone. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Yeah, no question Imavov is talented, but Whittaker isn't the only one wondering if he's really ready for that level of challenge. Israel Adesanya also shared his thoughts on what Imavov would need in order to have a real chance against Khamzat Chimaev. He said if Imavov can stop Khamzat's wrestling, that's the only way he can cause problems for the Chechen. But his wrestling is his main weapon, and he commits a lot to the wrestling. Gets the grip, he takes people down, keeps him down. So, if Nassourdine can get past that, he'll give Hamza problems. Or right now, Hamzat's on point. He's got the momentum behind him, and so does, Imavov, who's going to win. We'll see. Khamzat Chimaev isn't just a fighter anymore. The man is a megastar. Wherever he goes in Europe, crowds flood the streets. Fans chase him like he's a rock star. Chimaev's energy is different. He's not just fighting anymore. He's building a legacy, and now the goal is history. Applause. Chimaev's head coach, Alan Do Nascimento, just dropped a bombshell. Hamza wants to become the first ever 3-division UFC champion. That means belts at welterweight, middleweight, and light heavyweight. The question isn't whether he wants it. We already know that he does. The question is, who is going to stop him? We just seeing things how it's going, you know. We take it as it's coming. But of course, there will be a time that we're going to be forced to change division. Hamza have the dream to become a 2-division or 3-division champion, and the focus now is it's to go through that. All right, after his loss to Imavov, Caio Borralho took to social media with a powerful, heartfelt message. He didn't make excuses. He didn't point fingers. He simply reflected on the defeat, showed respect to Imavov, and promised that he'll be back. Yes, guys, I told I was going to speak English. I took a little bit more, but yeah, some scratches. And all props to Nassourdine. He was a better man yesterday. This is the fight business that I said in the interview. And right now I'm very grateful for everyone that was rooting and sending great energy and good vibes all the time, and I'll be back stronger. I'll learn from it. And it was 10 years undefeated. So I wasn't with this feeling for so long. And now I'm just going to get back better. And I see you guys soon. I want to be more active. I think right now that I lost, more people will want to fight me. And yeah, I see you soon. Maybe November, maybe December. Let's see what the UFC wants. And this is what I want. Come back to the end of the year. See you guys. Goodbye, friends. Now, let's be clear. One loss doesn't erase what Borralho has accomplished. He is still one of the most promising talents in the middleweight division. So we wish him a quick return to action. Now, whether it was Benoit Saint-Denis, Nassourdine Imavov, or even the rising prospects, UFC Paris was pure energy. Interim heavyweight champ Tom Aspinall said he was blown away by the atmosphere inside. The Accor Arena. Unreal. Oh, we're going to do a face. They're going to put me on the big screen. So, going to the boo. Recently, new footage emerged online that captured Gene Silva's live reaction to his close friend Mauricio Ruffy's loss at UFC Paris. For those who don't know, Silva and Ruffy share a strong bond. They've been training partners, confidants, and have supported each other through the highs and lows of mixed martial arts. So when Ruffy stepped into the octagon in Paris, there were not only expectations from the fans, but also a great deal of emotional investment from Silva himself. Leading up to the fight, there had been plenty of talk, some bold predictions, and high hopes pinned on Ruffy. Many analysts and Brazilian fans viewed him as one of the most exciting prospects coming out of the country, a fighter with not just skill, but also charisma, capable of carrying the weight of big expectations on his shoulders. In Brazil, where MMA is almost a national tradition, being tagged as the next big thing can be both an honor and a heavy burden. Ruffy carried that into Paris. But sometimes, even when you've done everything right in camp, fights simply don't go your way. That is the cruel but fascinating nature of MMA. One mistake, one miscalculation, or even just being slightly off your rhythm can cost you dearly. And that's exactly what happened to Ruffy in this matchup. Despite all the anticipation, his performance fell short, and the result was a tough, heartbreaking loss. John Silva's reaction was raw and unfiltered. Watching from cage side, cameras caught him living and breathing every second of the fight, almost as if he were inside the cage himself. When the loss became official, Silva's face told the entire story. Disappointment, frustration, but also empathy for his friend. It was a reminder that fighters don't walk this path alone. Behind every athlete, there are teammates, coaches, and friends who experience the victories and defeats almost as personally as the fighter does. Ruffy's defeat quickly became a talking point, and while some critics were quick to pile on, others offered words of encouragement. After all, losses are not the end of the road in MMA. They're often the beginning of growth. Islam Makhachev, the reigning lightweight champion, once summed up the philosophy in a simple phrase: train more, speak less. For him, that's the secret to long-term success in this brutal sport. And in many ways, that advice applies perfectly to Ruffy's situation. Instead of letting one defeat define him, the focus now should be on putting in the work, sharpening his game, and coming back stronger. The fans, too, showed support. Across social media, messages poured in wishing Ruffy a speedy return to action. Nobody doubted his talent. Everyone understood that setbacks are part of the fight game. It was a moment that humanized the fighter, reminding us that even those who step into the cage with the aura of invincibility are still human beings, vulnerable to the same struggles as anyone else. Applause. Music. Applause. While Ruffy's story dominated the headlines after UFC Paris, the event also gave fans another major talking point, none other than Jon Jones. In a brand new interview at the MTV VMAs with Denise White, Jones addressed the swirling rumors about his future and made it absolutely clear he is not retired. For weeks, speculation had been running wild. Some believed Jones had quietly stepped away from competition. Others thought he was simply biding his time. But with the interview, Jones set the record straight. Not only is Jon Jones still under contract with the UFC, but he also insists that he is training consistently, 5 days a week, with laser focus on making his return. His words weren't vague or casual. They carried the determination of someone who still sees himself as a force in the sport, and not just any return either. Jones made it known that he wants to fight on one of the most talked about potential cards in recent memory, the UFC's White House card. The very idea of the UFC holding an event at the White House has been making waves in the MMA community. It represents more than just a venue. It's symbolic. For Jones, competing on that stage would be a statement that his career isn't finished, that his legacy is still being written. He told Denise White that not only is he in the gym daily, putting in the work, but he also remains fully active in the USADA testing pool. That detail matters. It proves that he is officially eligible to fight at any moment, silencing doubters who suspected otherwise. Jones emphasized that his training isn't just for show. He's not hitting the gym to post videos for Instagram, likes, or to create hype. Instead, his focus is on being sharp, disciplined, and prepared for when the UFC calls. I'm not retired. I'm actively training 5 days a week, and I'm in the UFC's drug testing pool, he said firmly. When asked about the White House card, he admitted that the decision was out of his hands. Ultimately, it's up to Dana White and the UFC brass to finalize the matchup and timing. But his intention is clear. Jones is ready, willing, and eager. This stance is vintage Jon Jones, confident, driven, and aware of the spotlight. While some may question whether his best years are behind him, His dedication to training and his insistence on staying active suggest otherwise. Whether or not he steps into the octagon on that historic card, one thing is certain. Jon Jones is not done with MMA. Between Silva's heartbreak for his friend, Ruffy's need to regroup, and Jones's fiery commitment to returning, UFC Paris. And its aftermath gave fans no shortage of stories. It highlighted the brutal highs and lows of this sport, the pain of defeat, the loyalty of friendship, and the unshakable drive of champions who refuse to step away. According to Jones, he is still in the USADA testing pool and hasn't stopped putting in the work. He's hitting the gym hard and staying sharp, not just for the cameras, but to prove to Dana White that he is serious about returning. First and foremost, are you retired? I'm not retired. I'm actively training 5 days a week, and I'm in the UFC's drug testing pool. Great. And, what's the status of the fight at the White House? I don't really know. It's kind of out of my control right now. I'm training for the event. I'll be ready for the event. That's my goal. That's my intention. But ultimately, it's up to the boss. What makes you confident? What makes me confident? Oh man, I don't know, just hard work. Hard work and doing the things that people don't like to do. I think that builds confidence. Repetition builds confidence. And of course, we can't wrap up this video without our favorite, Merab Dvalishvili. He recently posted a new skit joking about how his Georgian friend Vato
Well, I'm not going to just cancel out Imavov now because his takedown defense, if he can take away the wrestling from Hamza, he'll give him problems. That's what you have to do. Hamza can strike, but I see what I see. But his wrestling is his main weapon, and he commits a lot to the wrestling. He gets the fucking grip, he takes people down, keeps him down. So if Nassourdine can get past that, he'll give Hamza problems. But right now, Hamza's on point. He's got the momentum behind him. And so does Imavov, who's going to win.